Okay, as I told you before, documentary credit is a mean of payment used when there is no trust between the parties. It could be used when it is or they are the first negotiation that both parties are doing, or basically when there is no trust between the exporter and the importer. That way, documentary credit is a good mean of payment, but it also could be expensive because it could take a lot of time for doing the operation, and also because the party has to pay for the services given by the issuing and by the advising bank. But it is good because the exporter, before sending the merchandise, he's sure that he will receive the money, and the importer, before paying the merchandise, he will be sure that he will receive for the merchandise. So both parties will be fine. The obligation and the responsibility are carried by the exporting or by the importing bank. In that way. Another difference mean of payment are the draft. That's in mean in Spanish or the pago. What is the draft? It means that the payment is done through, or is the mean of payment, sorry, through the which the payer, the mean exporter, asks to the bank to pay to the account of the beneficiary, that is the exporter, through a second bank, that is the correspondent bank or the exporter bank. It could have different names, a quantity of money established on the negotiation. It could be necessary that the transferring must indicate the concept by the which the payment is made or the payment is done. This is a shorter way, this is a faster way, but that is the reason why it is used when there is a great trust between the parties, confidence. So the exporter and the importer know each other. It could happen that at the first negotiation or the beginning of the negotiation they use a documentary credit, but then they can change the mean of payment using a different one. It could be the draft. Those are the steps. As you see, are only five steps for completing the process of doing the payment of the merchandise using draft as mean of payment. First of all, the exporter sends to the importer the merchandise and the documents. In using documentary credit, the exporter only sends the merchandise when he was sure that he will receive the money. It was the fourth step. In this case, is the first one. So that is the reason why it is necessary to that is to be a great trust between the parties. After that, the importer ordered to his bank to issue the transfer. Only after that is the importer do that operation. The issuing bank, that means the importer's bank, proceeds to make the debt in the account of the client, that is the importer. The issuing bank sends the instruction on the payment to the paying bank, that is the exporter bank, and the exporter bank pays to the exporter. Here, the process from sending the merchandise from the exporter to the importer is directly, but also the payment is, of course, it is done using the different banks. And here is the explanation again. The exporter, number one, send the merchandise and the document to the importers. The importer ordered to the bank to transfer for the merchandise, and then he debts all the operations. After that, number four, the importer bank sends the transfer instruction and they pay to the exporter bank. And finally, the exporter bank paid to the exporter, that is the beneficiary. Only at the end, the exporter he will receive the money. Another mean of payment is the personal check. It works in the same way like a normal check. It is used in a checking account by the importer for paying and for using that. It depending the funds or the account, the quantity of money that the importer have in the account. The exporter won't be shown to get the money only with receiving the check because it depends the funds that the accounts and the legality of the sign of the personal check has. Also, it will depend or it will work depending the regulation of the country because let's suppose it could be some countries that doesn't accept the personal check as mean of payment and they establish another different mean of payment by the government. I don't know. Also, it is used when there is a great trust or confidence between the parties. This is the way how a personal check works. The exporter, who's the beneficiary, sends the merchandise and the documents to the importer. Second, the importer, who's the holder, send the personal check to the exporter. Third, the exporter with that check deposit in the bank. The exporter bank send the check to charging or for receiving the money to the importer's bank, and that bank he goes back and he pays back to the exporter bank. Seventh, the exporter pays to the exporter's bank, sorry, pays to the exporter, to the beneficiary, and at the end the importer like receive the or debt the quantity of money that he has. It's also like a recommendation that is only used when there is a great trust between the parties. Check that are bank checks. So this is the process. Bank check is the next mean of payment. So we have documentary credit, we have draft, we have personal check, and now we have bank checks. There is a document issued by a bank. The personal check it was issued by a person. This is the main difference. By the request of the importer that in the country against to another bank in a different country in favor to the exporter. It could be or what I write here are the same. Because let's suppose some like really big banks such as BBVA, such as Bank of America, such as Citibank, even Bancolombia or even Da Vivienda, they have operations in different countries. So Bancolombia, the headquarters is located here in Colombia, but it could have like a subsidiary located in the US. So it could be, or that is the way how it is different. So normally this process is done after the exporter had sent the merchandise. It is the same way how I explained it before because it's mandatory for that the exists a great trust between the parties, and it is used, as I told you before, between great trust between the parties. This is the way how the bank check operates. First of all, the exporter or the beneficiary sends the merchandise to the importer, who's the holder. Second, the importer asks for the bank check to the issuing bank. This is absolutely risky. Third, the issuing bank debt. Fourth, the importer sends the bank check to the exporter, and he continues with through using the payer bank or the buying bank, the exporter bank, those are synonyms for completing the operation. Please take some seconds, some time for watching of the operation, how does operates. And here we have like the 7 steps that we have. And the last mean of payment that I'm going to explain you, it means that there are others, but those five that I have explained are the more important and the more used. International trade is the foreign remittance, or in Spanish could be said remesas extranjeras, I think. It's a banking operation by the which the exporter orders to a bank to manage the collection of some financial documents. It could be bills of exchange, promissory note, checks, and non-financial documents such as invoice, shipping documents, phytosanitary control documents, or another super documents. All of this is done against the acceptance or cash payment of the importer. Depending if the documents are financial or financial, the foreign remittance could be or will be simple or documentary. So we have the parties that are the payer, the remitting bank. Here you have like the explanation. You can read there who is the payer. That basically is exporter who's going to take the initiative to start the operation and to transfer the financial and non-financial documents. The remitting bank is the bank of the importer. The collector bank it must be different from a sending bank or located in a different country, of course. And fourth, the importer. And that is the operation, the processes. Here we have 7 steps as well, so take some time for watching. Number one, the exporter send the merchandise to the importer. Second, the exporter send the merchandise, documentary, uh, control, phytosanitary control, sorry, documentary, another documents, shipping documents, export declarations, and others. Third, this bank, through the collector bank, sends a document. Fourth, he sends the consignment, or Spanish would be the remesa, the foreign remittance. Fifth, he sends the payment to the collector bank. the collector bank refund